and gentlemen, is our host for the evening, Phantom.
Yep.
Hi, Phantom.
Hello. All right. So tonight we have with us Gavin, Panda, and Harris.
Heyo.
Yo.
And so to start things off, there was this whole issue last week with Far Cry 5's trailer release and how it was very controversial to some, which is very strange because a lot of people are just butthurt is the overall statement for that.
Yeah, butthurt works.
It takes place in a cult version of a little town in Montana taken over by a cult, and people didn't take well to that, which is kind of funny because supposedly Montana is already a cult-run state, so...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Kind of like Utah?
So
No, that's more
offensive.
And one of the articles I'm going to go over tonight is by a group of people known as Playhark, where they said some pretty borderline offensive things, or whatever you want to call it. This just sounds whiny.
I just can't
This
believe
sounds
this is
whiny.
actually a thing. Like, what? It's any time that any fucking gaming community gets all uppity about something happening in the States or it represents against the U.S. Just think for 1 second the one mission in Call of Duty, no Russian.
Yep, there
Yeah.
we go.
What the fuck? No one was raising a bitch fit except Russia, and for
Actually,
good reason.
There were quite a few people who were in disagreement.
Senators were really going after that one too.
That,
Oh,
like,
really?
That one was a
Yeah, it
very,
was like-
very controversial one. Even
It was on Fox
if
News.
it didn't seem like it. Well, Fox.
I
No
didn't
one
pay
cares
more
about Fox News.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up, because they're just fucking idiots.
Well, so is most of the fucking money-fed media.
Money fed media.
So I'm gonna read out the article and we can discuss after.
Just kind of go from there.
And I quote, "Enough is enough, Ubisoft. We've sat through your multicultural lectures and your preachy games aimed at degenerates and miscegenators." Whatever the fuck that word is. Or if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't even know. "We've tolerated it in the name of gameplay design and innovation, but no more. Far Cry 5 is an insult to your fan base, the Americans who make up majority of your customers, and it's time you woke up to that fact. Change this or cancel it. Us gamers have had to endure a lot of crap over the last few years, the targeted harassment by the mainstream press through Gamergate, the terrible launch and outright lies of highly anticipated video games, the outright censorship of art through localization policies, the continued rejection of romantic partners when they find out our hobby, the appropriation of our culture by so-called gamers on Twitter. No more. It's time to draw a line in the sand. We, the American gamers that make up the majority of your user base, demand to you cancel this game or alter it to be less offensive to your main player base. In these times, you must understand that there might be some violent repercussions if you intend to follow through with your pointless criticism."
Does anyone hear us? Just anyone just smell a scent of like double standard here? Just
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I
Do
mean,
people who wrote this article get that we ship these games to other countries?
Yeah.
Their player base is not just Americans. We make up a small fraction of the player base.
Looking at another article, there's an update who says the petition didn't work. Ubisoft has just released an expanded version of the original cover art for the game that shows a black member of what was presumed to be a white nationalist cult, which is literally one of the demands in this petition. You can't make this stuff up.
oh my god.
Fucking trailer shows a black man with a
He's
shotgun
not part of the
protecting his
cult, though.
church.
He's not a part of the
That's
cult.
not part of
He's
the cult.
defending
He's like a
his
Catholic
church.
priest. He's like, no,
Oh.
this cult's not getting in my church.
Away
You-
from 4.
I see.
All the people a part of the cult in the trailer wear the outfit. They all have a symbol somewhere within it. The pastor, or I think it was a pastor, sitting in front of the church was not a part of that cult.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shots of the actual cultists that you can see is like the same dude is in a lot of the shots. The rest of the people, they're in full hoods and cloaks. You don't know what fucking color they are. Don't make your assumptions. That's what a lot of the world is fucking wrong with right now, is that everybody jumps to assumptions and conclusions. Stop it.
Yeah, and well, going away from a lot of of the controversy and shit that people are trying to bring up with this, one thing that I notice about a lot of Far Cry games is that they have a lot of eccentric characters. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing I'm really excited for. I want to see what this villain is going to be like.
Yeah.
Weapon!
So, from what we've seen in the trailer, the one man who is standing in the middle of the road with all the things carved into his arms and shit, which is just, why the fuck would you ever want to do that?
Ooh.
He's a part of the cult, from what it looked like, because he was with
Yeah,
the group
because he was
of people.
holding their Bible.
He was holding their Bible, and he also was standing with the guys with guns, and pushed a woman straight into the water. I think drowning her. We can't tell though, because there's not enough info to go off of.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's so much drowning or holding her under until she says, "Okay, I'll join," form of baptism.
Yeah,
I think it was just a forced baptism.
So here's the article. The petition for the article goes on to say, so here are the following suggestions to make your game right. Change the villains. It's not so hard, really. Just change the villains to something more realistic. Islam is on the rise in America, as is the violence of inner-city gangs. Are you too scared to do so? In the words of Voltaire, to learn who rules you, simply find out who is not being criticized. Now,
that's like the main perk about Far Cry, though. Their characters are so eccentric, and it makes them, different. For example, Voss from Far Cry 3. I don't know if you guys have played Far Cry 3 or not, but Voss, he was the first villain that I've seen that actually had an eccentric impact on the series. He is one of the more memorable characters in the game. I think Far Cry 3 and I think Voss. It just makes them so memorable that they are that fucking, eccentric.
That's the guy I constantly think of.
Yeah.
When you say Far Cry and eccentric, I think of the dude in the pink shirt.
Yeah, and again, Pagan Min, another eccentric character, which he carried on that. He did carry on that little streak so far. He didn't do quite as well as Voss or Hoyt from 3, but he did pretty good. He was a great villain. This new guy, I have no idea what his name is or who he is, but I kind of hope he does carry that on.
It's just having that over the top.
Yeah, it's kind of like how James Bond does it, with all their name list villains. Except this is way more violent and
right,
crazy, but.
Well, then back to the point that Phantom was bringing up about how, change it this way. Islam is a rising thing in America. No one wants to play that.
That's far out of line. Like, if you want to be offensive, that is how you do it. If it's This is not the point of the game. For one, Montana is not. It doesn't have inner city gangs, or at least where the game is.
It barely has inner city.
Yeah, this is mostly farm towns and small cities with no chance for a gang, or even if there was a gang, it's not gonna be within the game itself because the game takes place in a small town. And sorry, go ahead.
Montana itself, we literally still have customers with dial-up speeds. That is what they are paying for because that's all they can get.
It just hasn't grown and evolved, which leads to the possibility of people getting disgruntled, having way too much free time to suddenly think, I am your father and you are all my children. Like, this cult actually has a sense of realism. If you were to have some random ass fabricated Islamic fucking uprising, one, you're going to offend a hell of a lot more than just some stuck up crybaby, I need a safe space gaming community. You're going to upset the entire fucking world because they're going to represent, they're going to try to do their best to create a representation of an Islamic uprising when they probably don't know the first thing about it. So they're going to get the context and everything wrong. And they're going to piss off the Islams. They're going to piss off the government and everyone here in America. They're definitely going to piss off the fucking not blue collar, but the hillbilly, rednecky, I want my gun, go fight me some blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm doing the best I can not to offend without stereotyping, but if you add that much realism with a fabricated fucking antagonist, you're fucking yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Extremism is extremism, no matter what banner you fly it under.
Exactly.
Yeah.
None of it's right. It's better to have it something fabricated, something that has no actual basis in real life.
So, the next part of the petition partition is something else. So the next part of the petition states, alter the villains, even if you insist on making the villains American Christians, consider mixing the races a bit, not to target white people exclusively. There are plenty of nationalists of every stripe and every race and creed, so throw in some blacks and Mexicans. There's no reason a protectionist nationalist movement would all be one race. Why stop being politically correct here?
And that's when Ubisoft answered back with an expanded fucking version of their cover that allegedly has a black man in it.
I'm looking at this, and the only reason I can tell it's a black man is because they gave him dreads. He literally looks as white as all the other people.
I've seen some pretty white black people.
Okay, if you're gonna add a black man, add a black man.
Right. Not a
he could
not
be
a
black
man to satisfy
really
the
tan.
white agenda.
Yeah.
Let's be totally honest here. Like, it was very. I think what they're trying to do is, keep from hitting a racial, big racial problem here.
To be fair,
by
though,
doing this,
this is more realistic than Far Cry 4 in the regards of how they're going about it. Like, with all the races and stuff. For one, are there any Hispanics in Montana? Like, I'm sure there are, but not to the extent that this person might be thinking.
Especially in a backwater fucking podunk town like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a lot of diversity. I mean, shit. If I was to travel to, I can think of at least 5 little tiny Iowa towns off the top of my head. There's going to be little to no diversity. There may be a small handful of blacks. You might have 1 or 2 households of fucking Latinos, but that's it. The mass majority is going to be whites. And that's the same way it's going to be with any state that has a mass majority of little tiny towns, is that they're not going to be populated with a big diversity. That is held for the bigger cities, because the bigger cities is where the money's at.
So
my dinosaur is freaking out.
Okay.
So anyway,
hi Joker.
The guy that he doesn't even look. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he doesn't even look all that black. More or less, he still looks like he's, a white Christian. I don't mean to bring race into this I don't mean to be racist or anything like that.
No.
But he doesn't look black.
Yeah. And that's going to be the hard part for us whenever we discuss things like this, is we are going to be skirting that line of offending somebody. But my mentality is 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I didn't have to worry about this shit. The only thing I had to worry about was saying the wrong thing in front of the wrong person, because they wouldn't get offended and go cry in a corner somewhere. they'd punch me in my fucking mouth for being a mouthy, racist little prick. And that's what's wrong with the world today. We have too many people that are just running away and they need shelter. And, oh, internet, help me. Dude, fuck off. You don't like what somebody said? Tell them about it.
Now, there.
Yeah, well, let's move away from all of this just for a second, okay?
Sure.
Well, before we go anywhere, too deep,
Right.
Wink.
So one thing that I love about the Far Cry universe is that they have very subtle means of tying the games together. Well, except Primal, because that was like way back in like Stone Age era.
It was like its own.
Unless they like find the corpse of the caveman you play as, which would be funny as shit. But anyway,
frozen in a block of ice somewhere.
yeah, just like riding a mammoth.
It's Altair's great ancestor.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, what I love about it is that they tied each other together in very subtle ways. Like Wilson from Far Cry 3, he showed up in Far Cry 4. Like Wilson he played a supporting role in Far Cry 3, and he helps the main protagonist Jason Brody, I think that's his name, and he pretty much helps you take down Voss and his band of pirates, along with Hoyt too. And he plays a very big part in that story. And he shows up in 4 later on. Not as big a role, but still he's there. And Longinus, like there are rumors that he was in Far Cry 2. He was a warlord in that game.
Huh.
Yeah.
And see, I like that when a developer will actually attempt to keep some cohesion through all of the games. Like it's definitely a definitive, completely separate title, but they do what they can to keep the fans that are really avid about the title satisfied with seeing, or interacting with characters from previous games. One that I can think of right off the top of my head was Borderlands 2. I about shit my pants when Lilith started talking to me. Like, oh wow, they've actually got the old Vault Hunters in here. And then they gave them fucking voices and shit, which even fucking upped it even more. So I really love that the developers of Far Cry took those extra steps to have those characters in there. That really shows that they're looking out for what their player base is going to be wanting.
Actually, something that goes further than just the Far Cry series with Ubisoft is the connection between all their games. There was a thing in, what was it, Watch Dogs 1, where you had to assassinate a CEO of a very large company. You didn't know what company it was, but you got a message from a group of people known as the Brotherhood. And this game takes place in Chicago, right? Well, in AC Black Flag, the CEO of Abstergo has to go to a business meeting in Chicago and never comes back.
Damn it, I should have played Black Flag more.
But yeah, it just makes it so much more interesting to me because, it adds
depth.
It adds a wider universe,
Even if you're not playing Assassin's Creed, you're still connected to it somehow.
Exactly.
Like it all comes full circle.
Like in Far Cry 3, there was a piece of Eden in it, actually. I can't remember.
Seriously?
I can't remember where in the game, but there was a glowing golden artifact that was found in Far Cry 3. It wasn't called a piece of Eden, but it was... But we all know what it is. I think
Voss's... Yeah, now that you mention it, I think Voss's sister, Cetra, I think that's her name. She runs like a kind of island group that she's pretty much the head of the rebels there, okay? She's been fighting her brother Voss. And she runs like a warrior tribe of people. So I wouldn't doubt that maybe she did perhaps have a piece.
I can't remember where it was, but it was in one of the DLCs.
DLC.
Is it Blood Dragon?
I think so.
That 80s retro...
It was one of the DLCs that was normal looking for Far Cry.
Oh,
It could have been
okay.
Blood Dragon.
Probably
or-
wasn't Blood Dragon.
It could have been Blood Dragon. I don't know. I cannot remember.
I think it's just an issue.
But Assassin's
Oh,
Creed,
there he is.
Watch Dogs, and Far Cry, and possibly even Rayman all connect to one another. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, that's fucking cool.
So back
Yeah, that's
Love
great.
that shit.
back on topic with the Far Cry 5 issue. So the next point that this person made, alter the plot. It's obvious that you continue to insist on using these characters. However, with a few artistic tweaks, you can save the concept entirely. Have the villains simply be misguided patriots forced into making their own nation versus the will of an oppressive over-government construed of all the people they turn to their wrath against in their immediate surroundings. Their brutal physical and sexual violence towards their oppressors will then be explained as a reaction to harsh government policies and taxation to show that both sides are wrong. Which kind
This sounds like Metal Gear.
that kind of
It's-
ruins the entire idea behind all of the Far Cry games.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, it ruins the idea of having a fantasy game. If you do that, you're basically saying, well, why don't you just make a realistic scenario where a group of people are fed up with our government's shit and they make their own government? There's too much of a risk of realism, and then you have the fucking extremists who are going to play the game and go, ooh, I could do that, and copycat it.
That is basically the premise of like the Metal Gear universe. Like Big Boss, he like separates from the U.S. entirely and just goes on and makes his own army without a nation, as to put the games. That's basically what he does. And I don't want a copycat of that. I want something unique, like Far Cry 5 is offering.
Yeah.
And
I mean, hands down, I haven't bought a AAA title in a long time. And as long as this game goes unaltered, this is probably going to be the next AAA title I buy, just based on the trailers alone. It looks fucking fantastic. I don't care about the premise or the plot or any of this garbage that people are bitching about. It looks like a good fucking game.
it does. That being said, ACE, whatever the next title is named, is coming out sometime soon. There was a little leaked video of it. It takes place in 1350s BC Egypt.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
So that little
Fun.
point that the person made on the petition was not very much to go on, but here's a bit more. Change the setting, but only for certain markets. Look, I get the anti-Americanism plays in France, and I'm not telling you to give up on potential profits due to complaints. Wouldn't want to be thought of as one of those hypocrite feminists, right? But for America right now, anti-Americanism is out. You gotta play your market. Change the setting to Canada for America. This way you don't turn away potential players due to offensiveness, just trying to help you make some money or make more money.
Canada.
Like for Canada, yes, there are some like I've heard
Oh
of
my
towns that have
God.
issues like gangs and shit, but Canada, really?
Yeah, no, that would turn this whole thing off. Nobody looks at Canada and goes, "Oh yeah, they're gonna start a little cult."
Oh, we got a cult, don't you know?
Oh yeah, you betcha. They're the best, eh? They give us all tea.
We're gonna go moose tipping.
Moose
I'm
skipping.
hung up on the fucking feminist point.
Oh,
The
I'm sorry.
the feminist point was
Feminism
No.
has
dumb.
nothing to do with this at all.
No, it's the fact that they had to make that reference. I wouldn't want to come off as one of these duh. So you're fucking pushing your shit off. You're trying to tell this game developer to not be offensive and to change this and to change that to make your game less offensive, and then you pop off at the mouth criticizing other groups of people.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You can't make a
Double
point by
standard.
bashing other
But like
people.
the whole hypocritical feminism thing, it makes me think of the one instance in particular with Miss Glorious Emma Watson, where she posed for a photo shoot and her tits were out. Her tits have nothing to do with feminism. The whole point of feminism is to be able to go, yeah, I'm gonna do that,
And then do it.
and then do it. It's not oppressive. It is to
It's an
strengthen
equal.
and empower women and people.
It's
My
an
question is,
equalizer.
why have I not seen Emma Watson's tits?
God damn. Of course, that's
There's
what you're
actually
thinking
nothing
about.
there.
You can't really see anything. I mean, it's
Like-
it's tasteful side boob. But yeah, it's very tasteful side boob, and people flip shit about that because she's
Oh
this
my God.
superpower he for she feminist.
All right, this is a fun
But what a
podcast.
bitch when there's nothing to bitch at.
God. So that whole issue, that whole statement is downright stupid. Anti-Americanism is out. What? Since when? My question is, why
Right?
is he so offended by this?
No shit.
Because he's probably one of those people down south who actually have a fucking internet connection.
Does he live in Montana or something?
Probably,
Maybe.
if you think
It's like, I don't want them telling the truth about my place. But Mike,
they don't need to know.
What was that game you guys mentioned a bit ago? ACO?
AC, Assassin's
Uh,
Creed.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that's right.
Chat was asking.
So here's an update after that whole thing. I was hoping to update this petition in regards to the success we're seeing in our mission, but change.org decided to attempt to censor this petition by refusing access. They say they were just updating their servers, which is spelled incorrectly, by the way, but we all know the truth.
Oh.
There are a lot of grammatical errors in this. I've seen a lot of claims that this petition promotes violence. Stop being morons. I was merely pointing out that the groups they target may feel slighted and revolt against them. It's just a safety concern, that's all. What?
What groups are they targeting? It's a made-up religious cult in a real American state, but a made-up American town. There is no victim. There is no target at all. It's a fake cult in a made-up town.
Yep.
Who's the fucking
I'm
victim?
gonna bet you $20 that this person played MW2 and went through the airport mission with no issue.
Right.
None.
I know I did.
I mean, I played it twice. The first time, I did shoot people because I thought that was required of me. Then I went about the other one, the next playthrough, not shooting people because I was curious to see what would happen. And it wasn't until I got to the part where there were police involved, like the riot shields and all of that, where you have to start opening fire without any chance of passing it without doing that.
Right. And you get shot in the face no matter what choice you make.
So
Like,
that entire mission was very controversial and kind of still is, depending on who you're talking to.
Joker says that he actually enjoyed the airport mission because it really gives your morality a chance to kick in. Like, do I really do this and try to keep cover and play the part, or do I not do it, stick with my morale, and risk blowing my cover and fucking the whole mission
Think
up?
about it this way. There are actual scenarios where people do have to go undercover and they have to do things that would challenge their morals in real life, like how spies get things done and all of that stuff.
Yeah. If you're overseas, undercover, working with another fucking extremist group, and they tell you, hey, prove yourself, go do this, regardless of whether it's against their morals, their military code, or whatever fucking flag they're flying under, whatever rules and morale that they have for themselves,
For the
it's
greater
either
good, they have to.
do what you were just asked to do, or you're dead and you've blown the cover for the operation that you were working for.
Shit, even
It's not a question of whether I should or shouldn't do this. It's I do it or I'm fucked.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And that was one of those situations.
Even
And then
if
at the
it's-
end of the mission, you found out you were fucked
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, even if it's not even overseas, just even
Just anywhere.
like cops in general trying to bust out huge gangs or anything like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you gotta do what you have to do for the greater good, whether or not like it's the one for the many type thing.
Yeah, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing
Yeah.
this petition goes on to say was, I would like to say that this petition has been a great success. Ubisoft has created some new game images for the game that shows some black men in the villains table. We can finally move towards true equality once we ensure video game antagonists reflect reality. I think they even made some of the enemies a little more Islamic by having them invoke their religion a lot in that trailer. Which is great news.
Can I say
Ubisoft is
something?
truly listening to gamers. So,
What more?
yeah,
There's no.
Where
There's
is
no
there
evidence.
a single sign of Islam? It is one symbol, one dude trying to be God.
And even so, what is wrong with that religion? Even if you wanted to throw them in there, what side would you put them on? Because they definitely wouldn't side with the cult.
No, because it's not their religion.
No.
Well, and I mean, as like even bringing my personal feelings into it, I'm an atheist. I don't bash any religion. I just let it exist because it has absolutely no bearing on my life. I think some of them might be silly, and the extremists really need to figure out what the fuck they're doing and be stopped. But if this cult was a real thing, the only thing that I would want done was their extremism to be curbed. Other than that, let them follow one guy. Let them do whatever they want. I don't care. It has no direct bearing on my life. I'm not going to get bent out of shape because a dude has serious delusions of grandeur. It's not a reason to go up in arms about shit.
Also,
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing him.
I'd like to put out one more thing on this, or another thing. So the amount of supporters that this currently has right now is 2,002 people. The gamers are truly speaking. They don't care about your stupid petition.
Oh,
Oh,
look.
shit.
It's like, oh.
2,002 people.
2,002.
Oh, look, the cult is getting uppity.
Oh, man. These people are the cult themselves. Like, hey, don't talk bad about us.
Bitches.
Just defend our plan.
Shit, they know who we are.
One of these guys has got that fucking symbol tattooed on the back of his fucking neck.
Jesus.
Like, they figured me out. How dare they rip off my idea? I am God.
It's like Cartman in like that episode of South Park where he keeps bashing James Cameron for stealing his idea for Avatar.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what I'm imagining right now. Just a little Eric Cartman with like a symbol on his forehead.
God damn it.
Let's see. Joker's chiming in. If you look at history, though, cults have always been shut down, whether their ways affect others or not, which is very true. Yeah, the world doesn't like a cult.
It's generally because they're brainwashy and shady as fuck. Like, half the time people don't realize what the fuck they've gotten into until, hey, you're drinking the poisoned Kool-Aid.
Yep.
You know what this thing kind of reminds me of?
Yeah,
it
look
reminds
at
me of
Waco,
Charles
Texas.
Manson.
We wiped that cult off the fucking map. FBI burned that bitch to the ground. You want to talk about offensive? Talk about the innocent women and children who had no idea what their husbands were involved in, who lived in that complex and died by FBI, American FBI hands. Burnt to death. Mass suffering. Waco, Texas. Giant fucking fire.
Yeah, no,
We wiped that cult off the face of the fucking earth.
I know when you're talking about we evacuated most of the women and children. It was mainly the men that locked themselves in.
Well, either way, you know, Joker's point stands. We completely wiped them out.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that that's kind of the premise for Far Cry, is that there's this cult, they pop up out of nowhere, start forcing themselves on this little town, and that's when the townspeople are like, oh, fuck no. And they fight back, wash them out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, that's been the theme with most of Ice games, is that it's mainly a oppressive force, like, for example, Voss and Hoyt's pirates, or Pagan's military, or the warlords in the past two Far Cry games, Far Cry 1 and 2. That's basically been the premise. Try to get rid of what the hell's oppressing you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've picked up through watching, I think it's your streams, right? Phantom, you've been playing
Far Cry.
the last Far Cry
Yeah.
game.
Far Cry.
And I keep hearing that douchebag on the fucking radio talking about all this crazy shit he's done and how great he feels about it.
Yeah.
I want to put a bullet between that mythical dude's fucking eyes.
In my final,
And that's what makes the villain so good.
in the final mission of the game, which I did have streamed, it was he gives you two choices. One, put a bullet through his head, or two, sit down, have a refreshing meal, and then you can go spread your mother's ashes where she wanted them spread. I put a bullet between his eyes, but that's not important.
Wait, so you had the option to kill
Or
him
let him live.
or go spread his mother's ashes or your
Yours,
mother's ashes?
like the character you play as.
Okay, so shoot him in the face and then go spread the ashes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a narrative thing.
Not really like it's either diplomacy or violence. I see the split there, but
They're
Well, here's the thing. If you spread her ashes, he gets on a chopper and you can shoot down the chopper. Like, you can shoot it down and then go find the crash site where his corpse is. It's like a scene out of Wizard of Oz or some shit.
There's another way you could beat the game. 15 minutes in, actually.
Oh,
Where you
yeah, I
just-
remember that
where you
cutscene.
You are sitting at the dining table having dinner. This is just after you get to Pagan Min's castle for the first time. Or palace, my bad, not castle. Different things. You're sitting at the table and he tells you, wait here, I'll be back in a few minutes. You can either wait or you can leave. The leaving gets you thrown into the war-torn Kirat, while the staying allows you to completely skip all of that. And you wait about 15 minutes, comes back, and you go spread your mother's ashes, and nothing comes of it.
And he just tells you, let's go shoot some fucking guns.
so you just skip the whole controversy and the whole, protagonist antagonist shit. You do your thing and then
And
credits.
pretty much.
Jeez.
Well, here's the thing. Like, when you analyze Pagan's backstory, it does kind of make you question a little bit. Like, the first time, I don't think I killed him just to see what would happen. And you just hear a lot about his backstory, and it's kind of sad in a way. Like, the woman Ajay's mother, AJ, Ajay, however you want to say it.
Ghani or AJ Gale.
Yeah, basically American or,
Proper.
yeah, or proper. and she loved Pagan. And there's this whole backstory that if you, go look it up and, do your research and shit, or just find the shit in the game that tells you this. And it does make you kind of, feel bad for the guy in a sense, even though he did turn into a psychopath.
Yeah. So, really fast, I want to go through some of these things that this person said. The last bits of it, at least.
All right, real quick, I want to touch up just because I don't want to leave chat out. We've got Joker and Rose kind of going back and forth.
All right.
The Joker says that there is a fine line at times between a cult and a religion. Just think about Texas versus the Amish community. And then Rose chimes in and is like, cults are usually unauthorized and usually led by an extremist with a god complex. Religion is authorized and typically follows a deity.
Or multiple.
But cults, cults more often than not usually worship a non-godlike being, which is a very good point. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. That's a very clear definition of the difference between the two.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the KKK. They don't follow anything but their color. And they're probably the longest standing cult in history. But go ahead, Phantom.
So this person goes on to explaining different journalists and different people's comments on this. And I quote, "Some rando SJW journo, great guys, just great. Crap yourselves," which is spelled incorrectly, by the way, almost immediately by saying this successful petition is just a false flag. Two specific random SJW journos. Double crap yourselves again. thinking 2 idiots who stumbled on this petition first must have created it, and CNN's and killed OJ's wife, right? Idiots. Okay, so there are
Wait,
more,
what?
but I want to throw this out there. If you're trying to get a petition across, you don't start talking shit about people. You do not just
No kidding.
insult someone because they do not like your ideas on it.
Double standards, people. Learn your shit.
Yep.
So, next one. Some IGN editor. He needs to put names in here if he wants to talk shit so they can respond. And he goes on to say, yeah, that makes us gamer look... He spelled that incorrectly, too. Look real good, guys. We tell everybody the mainstream games press are a... This is just difficult to read. Are a bunch of low-talent...
Let me look at it. Maybe I can read it. It sounds
cucks,
like...
And then they say they're masterminds behind secret hoaxes. Here I am, Gamergate's greatest success, and they want to say I'm some kind of IGN secret. The next one,
Did he just refer to them as cucks?
apparently, yeah. Talent cucks.
I think he probably meant kooks.
Talent cucks.
That's a sexual, like, status.
Number 4, Ubisoft employee of some kind. It doesn't say, it just says Ubisoft employee. Sure, this is all marketing. The first real headway Gamergate makes into convincing a game developer to listen to their audience, and you screw it all up by saying it's some marketing stunt. Even worse, you throw around some kind of confirmation that it isn't an Ubisoft employee.
I'm lost on this whole Gamergate thing.
Because
the fuck is this kid referring
no
to?
idea. Because some guy on Twitter or GamerFacts, something like that, says so. I have an uncle that works at Nintendo too, and he says you're full of shit. No marketing department would tell you about a secret marketing campaign, you moroins. It doesn't say it. Moroins. It says moroins. I'm gonna have this shit edited in. So, yeah.
Moroins and cucks.
So, according to the Webby world, Gamergate is technically hashtag Gamergate movement is an online movement ostensibly concerned with the ethics in game journalism and protecting the gamer identity.
What?
Ostensibly, even regarded generously, Gamergate isn't much more than a tone-deaf rabble of angry obsessives with a misguided understanding of journalistic ethics. But there is a lot of reasons not to regard the movement generously.
Wow. So, yeah, it's a bunch of people who think that gaming press isn't identifying them properly. I'm sorry, but there's no set niche or genre for gamers. It's like saying music fans. It's like, oh, the press is labeling music fans bad just because your death metal band fans get shit on all the time or something. Now you're going to put yourself with every fucking music fan. You're ostracizing every gamer by making a fucking ruckus.
Yeah, these kinds of guys are kind of double standard. I'm using this word a lot.
So, you know how you brought up the feminist thing?
Mm-hmm. Or
yes.
Somebody did.
Well, earlier in the petition.
Yeah.
Okay, that article is over a month old, though. The one about one written. Hashtag Gamergate actually began in August as a pernicious attack on one female game developer, Zoe Quinn, and her sex life. Seeing a theme here.
Wow. So that Gamergate got all wild up over one game dev and her sex life.
Yeah, so Zoe Quinn has been the victim of death threats, harassment since she began trying to publish Depression Quest, a text-based game partially based on her own experience with depression in 2013.
God damn it, chat.
Yeah.
Weapon chimes in, says names should be added so if you go after somebody, they can defend their point and elaborate if the statements were misinterpreted. Rose goes, smacks table. It's a conspiracy. Ubisoft created the petition. Joker's response, I am offended.
You're gonna love this one. Number 5. Some dipshit named Lan Cheong or Ian Chung. Wow.
So
Way to be way to be blunt about it. This is the truest and
Wait, that's actually quoted?
this is quoted, yeah. Some dipshit named Ian
Oh.
Shung. It's a Chinese name.
Oh,
It looks
wow.
like that or Japanese. I'm not entirely sure. This is the truest and most assured strategy to smear gamers in history. Find the worst example of a gamer and use him to smear all gamers. They take one look at this basement-swelling loser, obviously Asian. No stereotypes here, right? See he's fat, dirty, and lonely, and smear the rest of us. Classic. He's even some kind of game journo, too. Perfect sacrifice. It's bad enough when the mainstream press stereotypes gamers, but when they find the perfect poster boy in their own group to throw under the bus, that's even worse.
If gamers were to be typecast as anything, we're neckbeards.
Yeah.
We're the jobless, lazy people who live in our parents' basement and do nothing but drink Mountain Dew, eat Doritos, and play World of Warcraft all day long. We smell like the fucking north end of a southbound cow, and we've got necks down to our necks. We've got beards sprouting out of our nipples. And that's even an extremist fucking stereotype.
So, number 6. A White House staffer. Certain journos with an agenda want to turn this petition into some kind of political crap, so it has to be Trump. Of course they are obsessed with Trump and want to link everything with Trump. Project everything everywhere, though I am trying to make all games American and great again. Spelled that wrong. I don't have any affiliation with a government. Also, this weird thing about 4chan saying it's from 4chan because it's obviously racist, but also not from 4chan because he didn't post a Pepe once or say kek. Idiots. These are all the Okay, so that's... Hang on. Weapon. Okay.
Turn down Discord.
I had to mute him.
There we go.
So, these are all tactics. These guys try to silence this petition to pin it on some random idiot and attack the idiot. But I have news for you, mainstream game journalists. You targeted... Spelled that wrong. There's no E in between the T and the D. You targeted gamers, in all caps, where a group of people who will sit for hours, days, even weeks on end, performing some of the hardest, most mentally demanding tasks over and over, all for nothing more than a little digital token saying we did. We'll punish ourselves doing things others would consider torture because we think it's fun. We'll spend most, if not all, of our free time min-maxing the stats of a fictional character, all to draw out a single extra point of damage per second. Many of us have made careers out of doing just these things, slogging through the grind all day, the same quests over and over, hundreds of times, to the point where we know every little detail, such as, another spelling error, details such that some have attained such gamer nirvana that they can literally play these games blindfolded. Do these people have any idea how many controllers have been smashed, systems overheated, discs and carts destroyed? 8N frustration. Okay. In frustration, I think is what he meant. All to latter be referred to as bragging rights. This guy has all kinds of issues.
I think it's just supposed to be destroyed in because the 8 is above the I on the keyboard.
What? I don't know what.
I just took that as he ate the disc. What the fuck? How raged out do you have to be to do that?
That's a good question. I'm having all kinds of issues on my end, dude. Like, people leaving and joining Discord. Weapon, looking at you. I know you're watching this. Friggin'.
I mean, we love you, man, but Hey,
Oh shit, Joker's got a really good point.
What?
We were so
Speak.
caught up in trying to make sure that this week actually went off that we didn't make any posts about it.
Fuck. Oh well. We can.
So
I
we're
mean,
learning.
I
It's a
mean, and
learning
it'll also
curve.
go up on Wednesday, so we have plenty of time to.
Well, it's the live podcast.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to have advertisement for the post show.
No.
Joker, if you want to type that up for us, just get a post show thing set up. We're probably going to be entering post show here in about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Because we're rolling right up on an hour here real quick.
Yep, we have about 10 minutes.
So yeah, Phantom, if you want to carry on. We finally got the article pulled up so we can see the
Play
fucking
arc.
mind bender of words you're trying to read.
It's on the petition site. Just click the view petition.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
These people honestly think this is a battle they can win. They take our media. We're already building a new one without them. They take our devs. Gamers aren't shy about throwing their money at elsewhere, or even making the games ourselves. Wouldn't that turn them into get devs, which they in turn get bought out? Okay, whatever. Game, I don't know. They think calling us racist, misogynistic. Didn't see the end bit. He spelled that right somehow. Rape apologists.
wow.
Rape apologists is going to change us. We've been called worse things by prepubescent 10-year-olds with a shitty headset. A lot of words are spelled correctly here, but some, like headset, is split into 2 words. Okay. They picked a fight against a group that's already grown desensitized to their strategies and methods. God, this fucking post is making me dumb. Shit. Who
Brain cells
pretty
dying.
much.
Words are flowing. Someone make it stop.
I did tell a customer that there was a J as in George in their password.
Ouch.
Who enjoy the battle of attrition they've threatened us with, who take it as a challenge when they tell us we no longer matter. Our obsession with proving we can after being told we can't is so... He forgot the fucking commas, you piece of shit. Who told us
Learn your
after
grammar.
being told we can't is so deeply ingrained from years of dealing with big brothers and sisters and friends laughing at how pathetic we used to be that proving you people wrong has become a very real need, a honed reflex. Gamers are competitive, which he spelled wrong, hardcore by nature. We love a challenge. The worst thing you did in all of this was to challenge us. You're not special. You're not original. You're not the first. This is just another boss fight. Mind you, he's right in the sense of media does like to attack gamers for stupid fucking reasons, but that's not it. That's not the issue we're having here. It's the fact that he
Right.
likes to claim that what he's saying is correct. And for one, he in the post he said that that the American people have spoken, the American gamers, which he's assuming that all of the American gamers are on his side. I can tell all of us are from America, meaning we're not on his side, meaning he's already wrong in that sense.
Yeah, he's making a lot of assumptions here. I
Considering,
mean, he's making more assumptions than he is fucking spelling errors.
and considering like all of the top tweets and everything for this are just purely laughing at him. Like this isn't the big brothers and big sisters and the football players laughing at the nerdy little gamers. No, this is the fucking gamers
Laughing at
Laughing at the.
And see, I'm really hard pressed to believe that this guy is a legitimate gamer. A legitimate gamer is not going to look this deep into a fucking game.
right.
Like
It's
I
a
said,
goddamn video game. Get over it.
It's a small town hillbilly from a town in Montana who probably is the only one that has an internet connection.
I mean, if anything about this game is going to piss off a true blue gamer,
They're just not gonna buy it.
no. I'm saying if there's something about it that's going to piss him off, it's going to happen in game when you can't land on that one thing just right because you keep glitching off of the side of it,
Yeah.
or the boss keeps fucking changing his shot pattern, or a bear comes out of left field and tears you off your dirt bike. Like,
That's
those are
fun.
the things that are going to piss a gamer off.
So I can only hope that this person is joking with this whole thing, because if he's not, then he might want to get himself checked into a mental asylum.
Asylum.
Yeah, because the legitimacy of this is gone. I mean, it's bad enough that he can't spell right. His punctuation is absolutely horrible. He is also assuming a lot of things. He's throwing racist and fucking other just random stereotypical shit out there.
Yeah.
And he's being a hypocrite about it. Like, every single facet of his approach is wrong. This is immediately how you get yourself cast out and ridiculed. Like, if he wanted attention, he's got it, but it's definitely not the attention he was going for.
I think he's trying to get another situation going like Mortal Kombat, like back in the day. Like blaming violence on that game. You know, I think he's trying to become famous and that he's trying to call it out and be that one whistleblower in a sense, you know?
Yeah. Not to mention, like, the fact that, like, he keeps bringing, like, government and stuff and everything into it. No, it's purely religion-based or cultish. Nothing to do with anything other than, I believe this, you should believe it, and I'm going to kill you, drown you, make you, force you to also follow me.
And it's all made up.
Yeah.
He's getting bent out of shape. The only ground I can see him having to stand on and believe this is the size of the ground that Goku is standing on after somebody blasts him with an Earth-sized fucking power beam. It's minuscule at best. Is that it's based in the United States. That's
Which
it.
even then,
That's
even
pushing
that's
it.
pretty-
Stable enough ground.
That's pretty dumb itself. Like, even if it were, because it's all people complaining about just, oh, we're fine with it being based in Russia or China or some other place that we can laugh at, but as soon as it comes to making fun of the US, then we have an issue. It's like,
Then he needs to be real uppity about Grand Theft Auto then, because
No
it is
shit.
exactly
that is not a single blade
doesn't-
sword, my friend. It is double-edged and it is very sharp.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's...
Yep. HughesNet for the win in Montana. I guess Joker's making some reference about the fucking internet up there. But he brings up a point. He's like, just like Marilyn Manson was the cause of all the evil in this world. He was just a fucking singer. He was just a guy getting up there, putting on a persona, and making music. Ubisoft is building a persona and making a video game. Suck it up, Buttercup. Get out of your safe space, get some fresh air, and shut your fucking mouth.
I mean, to be honest, this new cultist guy, this new villain, actually kind of reminds me of Charles Manson in a way.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw him. Like, it's...
That too.
But at the same time, he was...
Charles Manson was nuts. But the one thing I find the most intriguing about Charles Manson is that he knew he was fucked up.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he was such an intelligent man. Like, when they did interviews with him and shit, he was articulate, he was polite, he knew exactly what he wanted to say, got it said, and that was it. Like, he was a fucking psychopath murderer who told people to eat people, but he was smart, and he was blamed for a lot of shit.
Which he did. Let's keep that straight here. He did do those things. He is an evil person. We are not followers of Charles Manson in any way. Let's keep that in mind. Because that was kind of going on to the point where people probably questioned this goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. Well, I've got a weird thing with, like,
Don't go any further, damn it!
nope.
You're burying yourself.
I'm not digging a hole. I don't have a shovel. Not digging a hole.
Good.
I don't worship any serial killer. I don't think any person who's ever taken anyone's life has the right to be glorified in any
No.
way. I can't even kill a fucking ladybug or a spider without feeling bad about it. So you don't have to worry about that with me. My levels of compassion and morality are way too fucking high. But yeah, I mean, just the Marilyn Manson being blamed for this and that and everything just because of the lyrics or the style of his music. The world it's always going to try to find a scapegoat. Someone's always going to try to find something to bitch about. This kid is just going about it the completely wrong way. Maybe if he would have taken the time, done a little bit more research, articulated his points, used spell check, people might take him a little more seriously.
Use Word, people. Type things out, read it, proofread it, have somebody else proofread it, and then post it.
There's an option in the bottom left of Word. Now, if you click it, like grammar, I think it says grammar, it'll point out every single fucking error in your writing. Use it.
Squiggly red lines under your words mean you need to fucking change it.
And if it's not red,
also look up some of your references to things you're comparing
if it's green
to.
or blue, it's a grammatical error, and not just spelling.
And for the love of God, if you're trying to make a point and get people behind your cause, do not go insulting other groups of people. Don't bring them into a fight that they're not involved in. Don't bash them, and certainly don't fucking just not having the fucking balls enough to call somebody out on their comment. That shows your weakness right there. I want to talk shit about what this person said on my post, but I'm not going to say who that person was because I don't want them called out to where they can come and retaliate or, God forbid, actually deliberate on their point.
Or for that matter, you can't even find it to look it up to see who might have said it because it probably doesn't actually exist. I'm just making shit up.
To sound like somebody's actually paying attention to me.
He wasn't quoting anyone. He was responding to them without you actually being able to see what that person said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just
facts.
it.
I want facts.
There's no way for you to even look up what they said to be like, okay, then I can kind of see how he took it this way. No, he's just like, I'm going to make shit up to make shit up.
Yeah.
I think we had a good discussion.
We did.
That I did not think that was going to make an hour. I thought we'd fucking ramble on about that for 15, 20 minutes and then just literally think on it our way through the rest of it. But that was I feel like we hit a lot of good points. It was a very even discussion. We didn't go too right or too left. We stayed relatively neutral.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, we can all agree on that. This kid's a fucking idiot with no ground to stand on.
So, word of advice to anyone watching this podcast, if you have stuck around for this long, and you've obviously heard what we've said, rule of thumb, don't be an asshole. And if you are, own up to it.
Or just
Definitely.
educate yourself. You can be an educated
that works
asshole.
too.
If you know what you're talking about, go ahead and be an asshole. Prove people wrong. But if you're just talking out of your ass,
Then no one's going to listen to you.
you probably stay quiet.
Yep. Facts. The only thing that matters when you're trying to make your point is facts. If you don't have facts to back you up, there's no way anyone can take you seriously.
Nope.
And yeah, just like Phantom said, just own up to it. If you're going to start something, if you're going to stir the pot, own the stick.
Good point.
Stay in school.
It's been a good stream, guys.
Well, this was
Thank you for joining us. And again, if you've stuck around this long, we appreciate it. It's very much welcome. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that like button if you enjoyed. And if you liked it way more, hit that subscribe button. Every bit helps.
Love us, please.
Notice me